Hello and welcome. This is Sergio. We are about to start another video recap lecture, the recap lecture for the written lecture titled Shopping Campaigns, Creating Your Campaigns. I'm going to go ahead and show you now how to create a shopping campaign, assuming that you've already gone through the previous lectures to get your shopping feed prepped, your data feed to basically have it formatted and uploaded into Google Merchant Center, which is where we are now. And hopefully you should see something on your dashboard that tells you your products are approved. I'm going to go ahead and load up the dashboard to one of the accounts here that I'm working with. And as you can see, originally we had some errors here in the date log, the history of the data feed product approval process. We could see that we had previously a lot of red, which is disapproved. Now we have a lot of active products, about 68 active products and seven that are disapproved. You should see a lot of green, if not all green, if you're hoping on getting every single one of your products to show up on the Google Shopping Network. And you have a little overview here of the paid clicks. I just started this campaign, so we just started getting some traffic. You can see on the products now, all the products are listed, the item ID, the price, if it's on the shopping network, and a couple of other great things. But we're not going to spend too much time inside of Merchant Center. We're actually going to go ahead and dive into our AdWords account. Already got a shopping campaign up and running, but I'm going to go ahead and start the process over to show you from start to finish what it takes to create a shopping campaign effectively. So we're going to go ahead and click on our good old-fashioned plus campaign button, the handy-dandy big red button here. And we're going to go ahead and click on, you guessed it, shopping campaigns. And we're going to be taken to a standard campaign setup page. So here I'm going to put a test campaign, and the type is going to be shopping, of course. You can load settings from existing campaigns, but we're going to choose not to do that here. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the process. Being that I've already linked my merchant account with my AdWords account, you can see here that I have my merchant ID here. My country of sale is going to be United States. We're going to skip over the advanced shopping settings, which will basically give you the options to set a campaign priority. This is something that you probably want to keep note of if you have multiple shopping campaigns. You don't want one to take precedence over the other. So you can kind of put a campaign priority here if you'd like. That'll basically allow certain campaigns to have more of an impression share, market share within your account than others if you put it to high. Inventory filter is basically going to allow you to filter out any specific type of categories or brands or items, specific items, any products with a certain condition. So you can kind of play around to only show certain products out of your product feed in certain campaigns. So for example, if you are a reseller of multiple products made by different manufacturers, you may want to create a shopping campaign for each manufacturer, so you have unique, campaigns. You could also do that with ad groups, which are essentially called product groups inside of product listing campaigns or shopping campaigns, now known as shopping campaigns, formerly product listing ad campaigns. But in this case, I'm not going to use a inventory filter. I'm going to create product groups for each type of product category, since this particular client doesn't have too many products. It's got about 70 products. It's not like we're dealing with a couple thousand products, at which case I'd probably recommend building several campaigns. But here, since we don't have that much to get granular with, we just have about 68 products, I'm going to split up my product groups in one campaign to represent each product category, and I'll show you how. So this is basically all the shopping settings that are advanced that you don't really need to toy with. Again, you could choose to show on Google Search Partners. I like to just show on Google until I've got really good performance, and then I start split testing another factor like using the search partners or not to see if it brings down my performance or brings it up. So I'm going to leave it unchecked as I usually do. You can feel free to leave it checked or uncheck it if you'd like to. Devices all will show on eligible, or all ads will show on all devices. And in the location settings, obviously you can pick and choose what you want to do here. I'm going to choose United States. because he does sell nationwide. The bid strategy here, I'm going to go ahead and basically just do the manual. There is an advanced option here where you can select a flexible bid strategy, which I have not created. So for now, I'm going to do manual here. I'm going to put my default bid as 0.01 until I get everything ready and where I need it to be. Budget per day, I'm just going to point 0.01 for now until I have everything, all my T's crossed and all my I's dotted within my entire campaign build. Then I'll go ahead and start adding the budgets. So I'm going to go ahead and click on schedule and make sure there's no scheduling restrictions because I want to show ads all the time. You can choose to put a schedule here if you'd like by creating a custom schedule, and I went over that in the previous lectures. And let's not worry about the campaign URL options for now. This is a bit custom and intricate, that type of tracking parameters that you don't need to worry about right now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save and continue now. We've got the campaign built, and it's going to ask me to create my first ad group. An ad group contains one or more product groups. You can set specific bids for each of the product groups you create and change them at any time. So I'm going to choose from the options here. Start with one product group with a single bid for all products, or create one ad group and generate multiple product groups based on the product attribute you choose. I'm just going to start with one product group and assign a bid for all products for now. And I'm going to name this particular ad group, let's just put it as dispensers. I'm not going to put a promotion, and that's one of the categories of products that this client sells. I'm going to go ahead and after my product group is created here, I'm going to go in here and click on that little plus sign, and I'm going to go ahead and click on my product type. Here we go. And you can see that the product feed has a product type, which is generally your product category on your website if you're an e-commerce reseller, which if you're selling or if you're using shopping, you have to be. So that was pointless. But you can see the different categories of products. He sells whipped cream chargers, specials, dispensers, CO2 parts, and Soda Plus, which is basically a soda dispenser. So I'm going to go ahead, and since I'm creating one product group right now only for dispensers, I'm going to add all of the dispenser products within that category. And now you can see it's selected. I'm going to hit save. So I've got my category here, my item type, basically product group here. And if you want to then subdivide that even further, the best thing to do would just use the item ID. So now I've got 12 different dispensers here that are showing the item IDs. I'm going to bring them all over. And now I've got them to the point where I could set my individual bid for each product. Some products may bring higher profit margins, so you want to bid according to what's going to bring you the higher profit margins in some cases. This is why I like to subdivide my products down to the item ID. So essentially one product group now, if we go back to the main campaign called test campaign, one product group is called dispensers. Now in that product group, if we click on it, we can see that we've got our products in here that are basically only dispensers. So I've got my bid set for each product here, and I'm not just putting one main bid for the entire group. I've got now individual bids for each product, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the top point, or to the top view here, and it gives you a little overview of the category hierarchy here: all products, professional quality, whipped cream dispensers, and then as you start getting some data, you'll be able to see it here. So now what I'm going to do is create another ad group for the second category that I'm going to be managing as a product group inside of this campaign. And since he sells, you remember, like I said, dispensers, he also has chargers. As you can see here, we've got a lot of chargers. I'm going to go ahead and make this group chargers. I'm not going to use a promotion for now. Promotions are great, but you have to have them included in your product feed. and it has to meet certain restrictions that are pretty stringent, such as, if you want to include a free accessory for certain products that people buy, you can do that using promotions and say, hey, you get this free accessory when you buy a charger. You will have to put that in the product feed. It will have to be part of your product feed, and then you'll have to submit it for review and approval here. But I'm not going to do that this time. It's really not that important. You can also go to, let's see here, I believe it's under, no, actually it's not. Promotions, assortment. Yeah, I believe there is a section in Google Merchants that you can kind of manage your promotions inside of Google Merchant if you have them on your feed, but I don't have them in my feed, so I'm not going to be able to show you. But in most cases, promotions are not extremely critical to use unless you're dealing with extremely competitive types of products, in which case you'll want to look into getting promotions added to your product listing ads for a better click-through rate. But for now, I'm going to skip it and click Save and Continue. I'm going to go ahead and begin to then subdivide again by first product type. And we're going to use the NO2 whipped cream chargers this time. I'm going to hit Save. So essentially right now, I have the ability to set a default bid or a max CPC for all whipped cream chargers. I don't want to do that. I want to have a granular bid, strategy here for each product individually. So I'm going to subdivide further by item ID. I'm going to click this top little arrow, or you can do each one individually, but this top thing brings them all over, saves you time. And I'm all about saving time. So let's go ahead and see here. Okay, great. We've got all of the products here, which I can then start to individually set my bids for. And I'm going back to the main top level view of the test campaign. I'm going to click on my ad groups again, and I can now see that my campaign is starting to fill out with several ad groups. And that is great. That's, essentially what you want to do. You want to start building it out with ad groups that make sense to your business model and the different product groups that you have. So I've already started to show you what it's like here. Hopefully you have the idea of what it's going to take to start building this out even further. Like all campaigns, you have your settings tab here where you can set specific bid adjustments on locations, ad schedule, devices if you'd like. The ads here are basically going to be product listing ads, so there's not really much you can do here. Let's see here, except add a promotion, which I barely ever tinker with. I think it is useful, though, if you, again, are in a very competitive industry or niche. The keywords section, you're not going to want to add any keywords because you don't use keywords with shopping campaigns. Google algorithmically decides, based off of the user's search query, if your products or your competitors are relevant enough to show up on the first page, and of course, if your bid is high enough to show up on the first page. So what you can do with keywords are add negative keywords. And as you start to get data, of course, and clicks, you can actually view which search terms are being used to show your products as well in the search terms report. And since we don't have any right now, there is none. Actually, let me click on over to the other shopping campaign and see if we can't see some here. There we go. So this one's been running for a bit, and I clicked on the search terms tab here under keywords, and it shows the actual search queries that have been used to get clicks and impressions for the campaign. Well, let's go back to the test campaign here and click on audiences, which we're not really going to mess with in this lecture here at all because it's more so for remarketing, which I'm going to build separate campaigns for remarketing and show you how to individually control and market through remarketing. The dimensions tab, since we don't have any data, I'm going to toggle back to the existing campaign that's running. And just like in search campaigns, you can view different sorts of data points here, such as the day of the week, for example, geographic locations, where your clicks are coming from, paid and organic type of data as well, and lots of great stuff. Call details, campaign details. So if you want to kind of see where things are going on, what destination URLs are being used, things of that nature, this would be the place to use it. Because it's a shopping campaign, it is going to be somewhat limited. A lot of the options may not really present data like they would in a search campaign, so bear with the AdWords interface there. But I think the time reports or views here in the dimensions report are pretty useful, and so are the geographic locations and user locations dimensions. That pretty much does it. Obviously, you can view how this is performing with Google Analytics, but we'll get to that in a later lecture when I go over how to analyze your campaign's data to improve upon performance. Hopefully, you guys have not gone through too much of a system overload with this campaign. It's pretty straightforward, I think, and hopefully you've gathered everything well and you know how to now build out a shopping campaign properly. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time, I'm Sergio. Have a great day.